There is a lot of copyrighted content on Redbubble if you haven't noticed already, and you can see right here from the screen that I'm on, there's the blue shell from Mario, there's Alien, there's Better Call Saul, there's the 𝗬𝗘𝗦𝗥𝗧𝗏, and countless others on this page alone. In my opinion, these are quite clear-cut copyright infringement cases and probably shouldn't be on the website. When we look at the Redbubble IP, intellectual property, and publicity rights policy, you can see that it's quite clear, if it wasn't already, stealing other people's work and passing it off as your own is against the law. And it also gives definitions of copyright, trademark, and publicity rights. However, when it gets a bit unclear, is designs like this one. It's a 𝗬𝗎𝗎𝗓𝗏. So it's clearly using the Mario franchise here. It's got the outfit, it's got the mustache, it's got the quote from Mario, but it's a cat, so it's not Mario. So does this come under fair use parody? Well, there's a fine line between copyright content and fair use parody, and I don't think anyone would be able to tell you whether this is legal or not. It would need to go to a court for that to be decided. But in general, I would say that if you are profiting using someone else's intellectual property, yes, it's not Mario, but if it wasn't for Mario and the Mario reference, this person wouldn't be making sales. I don't think this would be held up in a court of law. I think it's too risky. When we look at the actual Redbubble policy, we can see a note on fair use. So they've said you might be able to incorporate someone else's copyright or trademark into your own work if you do it in such a way that's considered fair use. However, please be aware that fair use typically applies in limited circumstances and isn't the same as freedom of speech. Quite frankly, fair use is a difficult concept, even for the experts, and the scope of fair use is different in different countries. Ultimately, you take full responsibility for the works you upload and display on Redbubble. It can't get clearer than that. They have delegated all responsibility to you. You are taking responsibility every time you upload something, so potentially you could be sued by, the people that own the Mario copyright. I think there's another one up here that I saw. Yes, Pennywise, so this person has actually used Mr. King Presents. They've used it, but obviously it's not in the context. It's slightly out of context. So is it fair use parody? Is it copyrighted content? Personally, because they've used Mr. King and because they've used it specifically, I would say that it is copyrighted content. You can see there from the title, they've called it The Dancing Clown, but it says it on the actual shirt. So very, very risky. When you actually go on to one of these, you can see right down at the very bottom of the page, after you scroll past everything, you have an option to report content and copyright infringement. So potentially, and in fact you can see there from the tags that they've used, Pennywise, it, Stephen King, I think it's quite clear that this would be considered to be infringement. So this could easily be reported, and the result of which would be Redbubble would just remove it from the website. If this person repeatedly infringed on copyright, it may be that they get their account suspended. The difficulty is, for Redbubble, they get hundreds of thousands of uploads every day, and I'm sure they don't sit and police every single one. They assume that most of them are okay and let them through. It's only when they are reported that they will get taken down. So it's easy for them because they have delegated all responsibility to the user. They are not responsible for anything that gets uploaded. They will only be responsible for taking things down when they are reported. So that's why you see so many of these on here. It must be really easy to turn a blind eye when you're making so much money. They are not responsible. You are responsible for this. So you've got to think every time you upload something, will this get me in trouble? Is it worth losing my account? There is a very fine line between copyrighted content and fair use parody. Just think whether you would be able to defend yourself, if necessary, in court when you upload something. I'm not saying you will be taken to court, that's extremely unlikely, but should you be uploading something, if it's using someone else's intellectual property, don't steal other people's work. Try and create original content for yourself and don't get in trouble that way.